Burkina Faso has suspended the US-funded broadcaster Voice of America. Suspended. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. I like you very much. You know that. You know, when I don't talk to you, I feel kind of depressed sometimes. Like, this is such a stress reliever. You have no idea. Next time we're going to bring somebody so we can, so I don't do monologues too much, right? I know. Do you want me to bring people across so we can have discussions, intelligent discussions, fun discussions about it? Let me know how you think about this. Put it on the comments section, right? Who do you want me to invite? A male or a female? And what do you want us to talk about? Do you want us to talk about Africa, geopolitics? Do you want us to talk about social situation, finances in Africa? There's what they call in Africa black tax. It's called black tax in South Africa. It's called differently in many other countries. It's called differently in Kenya, differently in South Sudan. So black tax is basically the money you as a black human being would give to a family member. In most cases, a parent, if not parents, like mother. You go work because you come from a poor background. You go work, you make some money, and once you make money away from your birth city or birth town, your hometown, you send money every month from your salary so they can run the family. So the grandmother, the mother, whoever can continue living. But many people complain about how heavy that can be because at some point you cannot progress in life because you have to look after your family. We can talk about that. That's very interesting. Let me know if that's something you could, you feel like you want to talk about. I know Americans are here, Caribbeans and all that stuff. Wagwan, me boss, we love you all. We all want to learn about Africa, okay? And also good, I know a Kenyan person want to know what's happening in Namibia. The Namibian person want to know what's happening in Ghana. So we need to exchange. Okay, so today we're talking about Burkina Faso. Here is a map. Burkina Faso, lovely place, great people. I love it. Some of the best chicken I've ever had. Anyway, we're not talking about chicken today. The Burkina Faso regime has suspended US-funded broadcaster Voice of America. This is Voice of America. Okay, it's a massive broadcaster all over the world. Why have they been suspended? They have been suspended over a comment about jihadist insurgency in West Africa. So basically, they were talking on the radio, on the TV. They made comments praising the jihadists. You know what jihadists are? Jihadists are terrorists. And these countries have been rattled by terrorism. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Here's a map. These are the three countries rattled by terrorism since 2012, after the death of Muhammad Gaddafi. It's been very, very difficult for many people. These terrorists just come out of the blue, enter into village and ask you, are you Muslim? If you're not, are you Muslim? If you're not, recite something in Islam. It's just crazy. You can imagine. So governments and soldiers in these three countries have been fighting very hard to defeat the terrorists. But it's been very difficult. Some people have accused France of funding the terrorists. Some people have accused them. Why would France do that? Because France is an ex-colonizer of these countries. Oh, by the way, these countries, they all speak French. They can't even speak their own languages, like their mother's tongue, because their grandfathers were beaten up so bad that they had to learn French by force. If you cannot speak French, you're gonna get beat up so bad. And it's so sad because today, most of them speak French, and if you speak to them in the home language, they kind of look at you funny, like, who is this guy? Like, are you stupid? Like, don't you have brain? Have you never been to school? Yeah, you completely lost the pride of being who you are. But the good thing is, this government of military is working very hard. Now, who are these people? The new government, military government in Burkina Faso, they came into power by force. They came into power through a coup d'etat. Why? Because the previous government was not doing anything against terrorism, and they were facilitating businesses for European companies. The Europeans were making money in the country while Africans were suffering. You know what I mean? Living with peanuts. So these soldiers went to the president's home and they toppled him, threw him over. But he was very lucky. They didn't unalive him, at least. They took the power, said, we're going to give the power back to the people. No more French people here. No more military from France. Because the French came to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger supposedly to fight terrorism. But many people accuse them of actually funding the terrorists. It's like, I'm funding the fire so you can call me to come and extinguish the fire. That's what they say. Not me, because I still want to get a visa to France. I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's continue. So apparently, this Voice of America described the jihadist or terrorist attack in Bamako. Bamako is Mali. Okay, last month they said they are courageous. They said the terrorists are courageous people. Imagine that. Imagine something. Voice of America is not an African company. but defining terrorists as courageous people, who can accept that? Could you define Al-Qaeda or those people that did 9/11 as courageous people? Would you still go into America? Like, come on, man. Would you describe the people that unalive the country that you don't name courageous? Would you still actually would you get a job? You wouldn't even get a job. So they're accusing them of demoralizing the troops because they talk so highly about these terrorists all the time on radio and on TV. Imagine you have a country and people are fighting to topple the enemy who's a terrorist. But the radio broadcasters, oh, these terrorists are so courageous. They're so strong. They've unalived so many soldiers. Like the soldier who didn't go to war, how do you think he feels? He feels scared. What do you expect from that government? They're going to lock you down. That's what they did. So Burkina Faso is one of the several Sahel nations. This is Sahel. This is the Sahel space. It's one of the Sahel nations that have been struggling to contain Islamist insurgencies linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State. We all know who sponsors these guys, at least some of them. These people have unalived many human beings. Burkina Faso in April suspended the radio broadcasts Voice of America, BBC Africa, and other international media outlets for 2 weeks for their coverage over a Human Rights Watch report accusing the army of extrajudicial, which it denies. So these people spoke about the Burkinabe government, saying that they unalived people unjustly. They just found random people, they said these are terrorists, and they unalived them. But in the meantime, they're praising terrorists, saying they're courageous. Does that even make sense? Now, can Burkina Faso shut them down, say you cannot operate here? Yes, they can. Why can't they? Because let's just look back in time. Very simple. The European Union shut down RT. You remember RT? RT is a Russian media outlet that was speaking their own truth. I mean, the West says its truth, RT has its truth. So everything the West spoke about, RT has some sort of an opposite idea about what the West says. So they were contradicting each other. What did they choose to do? They chose to shut them down, get them out of operation. They kicked them out of YouTube. They even kicked them out of Facebook, everywhere. Why? Because they wanted one unique media outlet, one unique narrative to the people. Like, I'm just thinking about this. Like, do you think people are so stupid that if they listen to RT, they'll start believing in propaganda? You don't think people have brains that are developed enough to listen to what you have to say and what RT has to say and pull their own conclusions? Yeah, I mean, that's like saying you're stupid. You're so stupid, I'm going to take this RT away from you so you don't listen to them, or else you're going to believe them because they're telling lies. So, in other words, the West want to tell you that you're not very intelligent. They would rather choose for you what you're going to listen to because you're not clever enough. Now, the country you don't name as well shut down Al Jazeera.
If you're watching this pre-recorded report, then Al Jazeera has been banned in the territory of Israel. On April the 1st, the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, passed a law that allowed the Prime Minister to ban Al Jazeera. He's now enacted that law. Let me just take you through some of the definitions within the law. They've banned our website, including anything that has the option of entering or accessing the website, even passwords that are needed, whether they're paid or not, and whether it's stored on Israeli servers or outside of Israel. The website is now inaccessible. They're also banning any device used for providing content. That includes my mobile phone. If I use that to do any kind of news gathering, then the Israelis can simply confiscate it.
Yes, they shut down Al Jazeera because Al Jazeera was telling a narrative they don't like. Al Jazeera was showing what was actually happening on the ground and they didn't like it. They say, you know what, we're closing your office. And that doesn't stop there. Why, when Burkina Faso does it, it makes big noise? Let's remember Ukraine. In Ukraine, they shut down even churches. They closed down the Orthodox Church of Russia. Well, Russia, because they speak Russian. And also they felt the church was pro-Russia. It was shut down.
The National Security and Defense Council has instructed the government to propose to the parliament a draft law on the prohibition of activities in Ukraine of religious organizations affiliated with the centers of influence in the Russian Federation.
They shut down the political parties from operating because they did not have a unique narrative. They had to have one unique narrative. Nobody's saying we should forgive Russia or we should try to find another alternative solution. So you can shut down places. You can shut down because you don't like the narrative. You can shut down because whatever is being saying is not what you want to hear. But if the Burkina is shut down, then it's a big deal. So fellas, that's what we're talking about. In the meantime, Burkina Faso is a beautiful place. Look at that. Look at how much fun they have. Very cultural. They like their cultural clothes. I mean, I was gifted this beautiful clothes of me in Burkina Faso. I was gifted this beautiful clothes. It was such an amazing experience. I even went to see the king. I went to see the king. Imagine, the king sat with me. I sat down with the king. How amazing. Just remember, in Africa, in most places, there was no president. President only emerged like many, many years later. Like in the 1960s, that's when we started having president. We had kings, brothers. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. Is this a good move by Burkina Faso, shutting down these operatives that are narrating things that are disillusioning and discouraging soldiers, saying that the enemy is very strong, the enemy is powerful, the enemy is courageous, and accusing the army of doing extrajudicial? God bless.